Hello my friends and welcome back to another episode of the $5 Thrift Challenge, where I started with a $5 bill and I'm turning into $10,000 only by thrifting and reselling clothing that I find in the thrift stores. So I've been to regular thrift stores, I've been to Goodwills, I've been to Salvation Armies, I've been to the bins, I've done almost everything it feels like at this point. And I started with just one single item that I bought for $5 and we've snowballed it to the point where we're at now, where we have hundreds of items that I have thrifted with that just $5 initial investment, plus over $4,000 in the challenge bank. So it's gonna be an exciting episode, and hopefully we will be halfway to our $10,000 mark here soon. It's gonna be pretty exciting today. It's been an exciting series, but let's talk about what things we've sold in the challenge since last week when I saw you guys last. So at the end of last episode, we had $4,055.01 in the challenge bank, but we're gonna add a little bit to that here today. So the first thing that was sold was this pair of Maeve the Bloomer shorts that I picked up in a thrift store in Indiana. Super cute pair of like bloomer shorts from Anthropologie. Absolutely adorable. They were new with tags. They sold for $44.99. And from that sale, we make $42.73. So that was a Depop sale. I retained quite a bit of the money from that, which we always appreciate. And so that money is heading into the challenge bank. Then the Johnny O Purdue pullover. Again, I picked this up in Indiana. I recently delisted and relisted quite a few of these items that I picked up a few months ago. And so this is one of those things I relisted and then it just sold. So this sold for $36. From $36, we make $28.80 heading into the challenge bank. So that takes us over $4,100 in the bank, which is exciting. Then I sold the pair of Teva Hurricane Verge slide sandals for $28. From $28, we make $24.62 heading into the challenge bank. And then the last thing that I sold heading from last week into this week, part of the challenge, is this Arc'teryx puffer coat. This is something I picked up last week. In last week's episode, I listed it and within one day, it sold for $120 on eBay, I believe. And so that's a great sale. I'm very pleased that we sold something for a high amount. I really have been a little bit off my game with my listing and, shipping and doing all of those parts of my job. So this was a good boost in my confidence. This Arc'teryx puffer coat sold for $120, make $105.14 after fees on eBay. And so that will head into our challenge bank, giving us a grand total of $4,256.30 to go shopping with today. Obviously, we're not gonna spend all of that. I'm glad. I don't wanna spend $4,000 in one thrift trip. We have a good amount of money in the bank, so if we need to find something expensive, we can. I have a coffee date planned today. I'm meeting a subscriber turned new friend for coffee today, and so I think that's going to be fun. Where we're meeting for coffee though is really close to the bins, so I'm gonna get there when they open. It says they open at 9:30 online, so I'm gonna go there at 9:30, although I thought they opened at 10, but I guess we'll find out. And I have to meet her for coffee at 11, so I only have 45 minutes of shopping and sorting and checking out and then driving before I need to leave. And so it's gonna be a whirlwind, but hopefully we'll be able to find some things. But this will also go to show too, like, you don't have to spend 6 hours digging through the bins or thrifting at a thrift store. Sometimes just even a quick trip is enough to really make it worth your while. So I don't know, hopefully we find good things. Let's try it together. I will take you guys along with me, of course, but let's head to the bins together. So I'm at a stoplight right now, but I've never been to the bins for less than an hour. I don't know how this is gonna go. I don't even know if I can find anything in that amount of time. But I also, my shoulders are so sore because I've been painting like crazy. I stayed up until midnight last night painting. So we'll see how this goes. I'm definitely feeling like this might not be my day in the bins. Whoops. It's so interesting. They're actually doing some interviews or something right now. Didn't ask me. That's really funny. I did find this North Face jacket though in these bins that are left over from yesterday. They haven't flipped anything new yet. They're just getting ready to do a shoe flip. So I am looking through some things that already were here from yesterday, just like left over, and I still have been able to find a few good things. So that's good because, we're on a time crunch today. So I'm also gonna see if I can find any kids items that I can put in my Whatnot show for the upcoming week. I don't know. Since they're picked over, it might be hard to find some cute, really well-made kids clothes, but we'll see. Guys, I'm just rewatching this footage of me with the grabber in the bin. I don't say a single word. I'm just so excited about having my grabber. My girl. So this fleece is really cool. This embroidered Australian open fleece for tennis, I'm assuming. Pretty cool. My husband, I think, would actually really like that. Let's see. There's always good stuff hiding in the bins. Just never know what you're gonna grab. Jenny U. So many Jenny U dresses. Let's check it for flaws, but otherwise that's going in the cart. Dang. So the shoe flip was good. Got a lot of shoes in here, and I only have what I need to leave in 5 minutes. So that's not good. But in the shoe flip, the first thing I grabbed basically were these. I saw the bottom, it said DJP, and I was like, ooh, some Donald J. Pliner's tall boots with like this leather overlay. I'm gonna look at those Timberlands, see if it's worth trying to salvage the leather. I don't know what these are. Subo? I'll look those up. I found a few kids items too, just some really like, here's a pair of Lacoste. I'll look at those a little bit closer, but found some good things. I've got to sort really quick though, and then I'll show you guys what I actually ended up picking up when we get home. So my microphone battery is dying, but I decided to pop into the Red, White, and Blue thrift store. It's one that I had come to once before. I got really overwhelmed in, and then I ended up leaving and just found a few things, but my cart is full. I've been in here for maybe 10 minutes, and I was looking at some jeans. I just felt inspired to look, and I found a pair of 7 for All Mankind Dojo jeans. I saw a few pairs that weren't Dojos that I was like, oh, it'd be nice if these were, but this pair is for $7.99. It's been a while since I found a 7 for All Mankind Dojo jean, but the last time I had them, they sold for $75, I think, really quickly. So I'm gonna grab them, at least put them in the cart, but that was exciting to find so far. So I did grab this little trench because it is what appears to be Burberry. The stitching looks really clean, looks really nice. It is $70 though. So that's where I'm like, oof, which it probably would still be worth it if it is real. It looks really good, a little bit dirty, but I don't know, we might end up picking it up just for the fun of it. Since you guys are here with me, we're going thrifting. I mean, it looks really good. It feels really nice. It needs to be cleaned, but I looked online. I think that this retails for like $2,000. So if it retails for $2,000, I saw some being resold for a couple $100s. If I can clean it up really well, then I think that we might be in good shape. I don't know, is it worth the risk? What would you guys do? Pilcrow, they are a little bit older. I mean, not older. They are a new style, but they don't look like they're like wide leg or baggy or anything like that. So it might be a no, but for $7.99, I'm gonna put in the cart. Okay, friends, so we're back home. I was able to pop into the bins. I popped out as well, all within, 45 minutes. I was in and out, which is really insane. I had to leave right as they were starting a new flip, but I wanted to make it on time to my coffee date, and so I was able to find a good amount of things for only being there for a few moments. This is probably the shortest bins trip I've ever done in my life. I spent $32.21 at the bins. I only bought 4 items of clothing, and then I bought 6 pairs of shoes. So all of that within 45 minutes, and I found some really great pieces in that flip, so I feel good about that. But then, completely unplanned, my coffee date with a friend, a subscriber here in the area, a thrifter. She and I decided to go to the Red, White, and Blue thrift store after we were done at our coffee, and I ended up picking up like 4 items there. And so I spent $32.21 at the bins, and I spent $25.85 at the regular thrift store, so $58.06 in total coming out of our challenge bank. So I spent quite a bit less than I normally do, which I think is a blessing this week. I really need a little bit of a break, you know, but I'm pretty pleased with the things I found. So let's start with what I found in the bins, starting with this pair of boots. This is an incredible find. I felt amazing when I pulled this out of one of those pallets of shoes. This is a full leather, like knee-high boot from Donald J. Pliner. Are you kidding me? These are incredible with this like overlay of the leather over them. They're so cool. I feel really good about this grab for $3.49. Like, come freaking on. Where else in this area am I gonna find something that cheap? These are in a size 7. They are real leather. I do have a suede brush. I probably need to clean these up a little bit. Y'all, we need to have a shoe cleaning episode here soon because there's a lot of work that I need to do just with the things that we already have. Unfortunately, I am guilty of still buying things when I need to work on the things I already have. But these are the Devi 6. So I looked these up. I saw quite a few listed for over $100. I think $75 to $100 for this pair of boots. And that already more than pays for our entire haul from both locations. So that's amazing. Then I also grabbed this really cool vintage looking fleece. It has the Australian Open embroidered in letters down the arm. It is definitely a little dirty. I need to like soak this thing in OxyClean and then give it a wash. It needs a lot of love on this piece for sure, but I thought it was really cool. It has the Australian flag on the back here, and then it says Australian Open, size large on the interior. I think I'm gonna give this to my husband. I think he's going to love that. He's a big tennis fan, and so I just wanted to show you guys that because I did find that. And then shockingly, this was in throwbacks. This was in the throwback section, is this North Face jacket, which I am happy to pick up for the North Face Renewed program. I have a pile of those things from the North Face started in my basement where I can take those into the North Face and get $10 to like $50, sometimes even more than that, credit that I can use at the North Face. So always something I'm looking to do. This is a size 8. Which makes me think, I know this is like vintage from the 90s. I wonder if this is a kid's size. It could be. Huh, very interesting. Know nothing about it. It does say on the arm, the extreme light jacket. So I know nothing about it, but I did grab that as part of this. One of the 4 pieces of clothing I pulled, it was probably like $2 for that or something crazy. And that should hopefully do well. I'll get at least my money's worth out of it for the trade-in. But I also picked up this cute little pair of patchwork pants. These are so adorable, and I'm gonna put these in my kids' Whatnot show that I'm hosting when I'm filming this week. This will have already happened by the time you guys see this video, but I'm going to schedule a few more Whatnot shows, and then hopefully we'll do some more shows in the future where I'll show you some more items that I find in the bins, and then I can just bring them directly to you in this $5 thrift challenge series, and you guys will be able to support it that way and also interact with me kind of one-on-one. I think that'll be fun. So these little cutie pie patchwork pants are going in my next Whatnot show, but I'll leave the links for all of my Whatnot shows, and if you've never signed up, down below, and you get $15 off your first purchase on Whatnot if you have not already signed up. So that's pretty great. Then I did find this Jenny U bridesmaid dress in the bins, and I like selling Jenny U. I like selling bridesmaid dresses in general. They do really well for me. This is a full-length green little tulle dress, and it's also a plus size, so that's great. I didn't even know it was plus size when I bought it. I just saw it and I was like, yep, I will buy that. I'm sure there's probably some flaw in here somewhere, but when it comes to bridesmaid dresses like this, I tend to just pick it up anyway, especially if it's in the bins, because I feel like people don't care as much. They're gonna wear it one time if there's a small snag somewhere, especially if you're looking on Poshmark or on eBay for a deal. For your bridesmaid dress, you usually don't care as much, but this is Jenny U collection, size 24. I think I've sold this exact same dress perhaps before, but yeah, tulle bridesmaid dress, I would assume at least 50 bucks for that, and that would be amazing. So those are all the clothing pieces I picked up. That was so fast. Oh my gosh. Maybe I need to go for a set amount of time more often in the future. Now, this is something I hardly ever pick up. I really don't pick up Nike very often because I don't know enough about Nike to really differentiate between what is worth reselling and what is not. But these were so cute and such a good color scheme, I decided to grab them. These are from doing some research, doing a reverse image search, the Nike Terminator lows in brown velvet, I think is the thing. They're chocolate brown colored Nike. I think they're super cool. The bottoms are in great shape, and these look to be real and really nice and great condition. They're size 8.5 or European size 40. Is that men's or women's? I'm not sure then, but these came out in 2023. So they're not too old. I think they're really cute. And I did look up comps. I think they should resell for around $40. I had to really rely on my instincts though when I was in the bins, because I have no signal in there, and I had not enough time to look up anything. So I really was making like split decisions, trying to just, you know, rely on my gut instinct on if it was worth it or not. And I feel pretty good about what I picked up now that I can actually look things up. This is another piece that I was like really relying on my instincts for, because I just did not know if I would be able to sell them for anything when I was in the bins and not able to look anything up. I love to look up everything. These are a really nice pair of brown leather sneakers. I think they're super cool. And then can you see the outline of the alligator right there on the side? These are actually a pair of Lacoste sneakers, but they're full brown leather. I think they're so cool. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell that they are Lacoste. They're on the inside, it does say it. It also says it then on the bottom. And if these were just like a plain white sneaker, I probably would have left them behind, but they are real leather. And because they're fully leather, I think I can use my Doc Martens, that Wonder Balsam like leather conditioner, to really like smooth out the leather, butter it up, make it look amazing. And I do think these could resell then for over 50 bucks. But they're really cool. I thought they were really neat. And so we'll see what happens with them. But these are in a size European 45 or a US 11.5. And it looks like they're called the INNO 605. So I'll look up all that information, but for real leather shoes like this, really high quality from Lacoste in the bins, I was like, okay, for $3.50, what's the worst that can happen? Again, it probably is worth it at least for $5. We have 3 more pairs of shoes. We have this pair of FitFlops. I love selling FitFlops. We're heading into spring and summer. They usually do really well for me. These ones have a little like jeweled thong for the front, and FitFlops are actually quite expensive new, and they tend to sell for me around like $35. So for $3.50, I can 10x my money. It's pretty much impossible to tell what the size is on these. I would guess from looking at least a 10. It might be a women's 10 or 11, so a pretty nice large size, but that is what they look like for $3.50. Again, hopefully around, I'll probably list around $35 to $40. Then this pair of boots I picked up, I have never heard of this, but it was a pair of boots in the bins together. I had both sides to it, and it's from the brand Xero, XERO. And from looking at comps, I thought they should resell for around 40 bucks. Never had I ever heard of this brand, but in the bins, you just take what you are given, especially when you are working quickly. And these are a women's size 10.5. So I need to get these boots listed. I want to get these wintry shoes listed ASAP and get them off to the right buyer. And then the last thing I picked up from the bins in that 45 minutes, which, I mean, what do you guys think? For 45 minutes, did I do okay? I feel like I grabbed quite a few things for only being there for a little bit of time. Usually when I go, I'm there for like 4 or 5 hours. So this was definitely a different trip for me. The last thing I picked up was this cute little pair of kids Zara boots. I think these are so sweet. Zara kids clothing is just so adorable. And these are in a size 26, which I have no idea what size that is for a kid foot, but they are absolutely darling, and I think they're perfect for spring, and they're green. So that will also be going with the patchwork pants into the Whatnot show, which I am a little nervous for, but I am getting ready for and pushing myself to do it. So it should be a good time. Then I picked up 3 pieces of clothing and 1 thing for myself at the Red, White, and Blue thrift store. This is the same thrift store I went to a couple weeks ago, maybe a few months ago now at this point, where I got super overwhelmed. It was so busy and loud, and everything was just so messy. And this time was a lot better. Going with somebody else, making a friend, and having company there was a lot easier on me. But I did find some really good things. I almost got a Burberry jacket. I was really on the fence about if it was authentic or not. It was $70, and it would be a big risk. And I knew it was worth the payout if it was real, but if it wasn't real, then there's no returns, there's no nothing. And also they only take cash. And it was just like, I just decided not to take the risk, which usually I would take the risk, but because I had a friend there helping me, I was like, okay, if she also doesn't think it's real, then I should not buy it. I did buy this little girl's Lily Pulitzer dress though. I think this is adorable. This is in a size extra large, so a size 12 to 14, and it was $4.99. So I did pay $5 for this, which feels so incredibly expensive after going to the bins, but is so cheap for a Lily Pulitzer dress. So I've got to like reframe my brain, but I'll put that in my Whatnot show. And then I was able to find this dress, which is my most exciting find probably from the day. This was new at tags. It was $14.99, but it was the color that was 25% off this day. So I still thought paying like maybe $10 to $12 was not bad. It is another bridesmaid dress with a little ruffle at the end. I love this green color. It has these little extra fabric pieces that you can tie into bows at the top of the sleeves. But this is new at tags from Show Me Your Moo, which I was like, oh yeah, for sure. I have sold quite a few Show Me Your Moo bridesmaid dresses. It's in a size large, great color, great size. Heading into wedding season, this should do well. New at tags, never worn, for less than $15. So I know that new, these are probably over $100. And I thought this was really beautiful, even for like a wedding guest dress. I thought that would be great. So I grabbed that. And then the last thing I bought to resell was this pair of 7 For All Mankind dojo jeans. If you guys have been watching me for a long time, then you will have seen me talk about these jeans. I've sold them so many times. Every time I found them in the past, they've sold for me within one day for like $75 to $100 really quickly. Great money. I haven't sold a pair in probably a year, maybe 2 years. And so I really don't know if they're going to hold up like they usually do, but I was still willing to try it for $7.99. The comps still looked good. So this one is really hard to tell that it says dojo, but I could tell. It's definitely a D-O-J-O right there. For $7.99, we're gonna give it a go. We're gonna give it a whirl. And these are a size 27, but this is just a really sought after style because they're flared. They have that like wider leg, definitely more of like a Y2K 90s kind of styling. So got those for only $7. I think that was worthwhile. And then the very last thing I picked up, this I'm going to keep for us, hopefully for, you know, future kiddos. It is this amazing Anastasia like train. Oh my gosh. Let me know if you guys have seen this movie. I grew up loving this movie. This was like my movie on VHS, of course. It has 1997 on the side of it, which is crazy. But inside of it then, it has all the pieces. I looked very briefly while I was in there. But basically you make a little train track and then it has the actual like marked train from the movie on the inside with like you add a battery in and then it runs. This is so cool. It's so niche, but it's so perfect for me. I am so excited about this. I love nostalgia. I love anything that I grew up with in my childhood, and I could not be more excited. Even if it doesn't run, I haven't checked it yet, I still think it would be a fun toy, and I just cannot with how excited I am about this. Do you see the little Anastasia on the side of that train car? That is insane. Okay, so excited about that. 4 train cars, some pieces of track, all for $2.99, and it's all branded a 20th Century Fox presentation. Like, so cool. So my childhood, such a 90s kid thing. That makes my heart really happy. So that's everything I found. Wow, look at that. When I don't pick up a million things, it doesn't take a million years to get through the haul, which is absolutely crazy. So I'm gonna go try to get some of these things ready. I think I'm gonna try to do a what not show a week. We'll see. Fingers crossed. We'll see how I'm feeling and if I'm feeling up to it after this first one. Make sure to go and save my show so that way we can go and hang out. And I will see you guys in an episode coming out very, very soon. Bye.